Hello again and welcome back to my channel. In this video we are talking about sitting trot, and I thought I would give you some tips on how to move with your horse better and follow the horse's movement in the sitting trot. So first I thought I would show you in slow motion. So now let's take a look at this little clip where I'm riding, and we're going to look at the sitting trot in slow motion.
So here we go. And I'm sorry about the quality of this video. I know it's not perfect, and also my riding, I know it's not perfect, but well, this is what I have to use now, so just deal with it. Okay, but now this is normal speed. We're going to slow motion soon. I'm just gonna make a little transition here, just using my seat. So now here we go. So now just look at my hips. You can see this opening and closing from my hip joints, and that's really, it's kind of like we need to receive the horse coming up with our seat, and most of that movement comes from our hip joint opening and closing. And also we need to keep our knees and our ankles supple, so we have this little suppleness also in those joints. And then we need some stability in our upper body. My head is a little bit too much forward here, so my seat, I don't think my seat is perfect, but like, I hope you still get the idea from this video. And in this video, I'm sorry that I don't have a video like where we could have a view from the back, so we don't see this side-to-side motion that also we have to allow to happen from our pelvis. I'm going to talk about it later. But in this video, like in this clip, you can see that I made just another transition there. But if you just look at that opening and closing from the hip joint, that's really what we need to find to be able to follow the horse's movement. Otherwise, we often get this bouncing. I also have another video about bouncing. If you want to see that, I will put a link somewhere up in the video and also in the description box.
So what we need to understand when we think about the sitting trot is how the horse's back moves. So of course the horse is going up and down because there's this flight phase where no feet are touching the ground. The horse is on the ear, in the air, so it's going up and down the horse's back. But what you couldn't see really in the video is also that the horse's back does this kind of side-to-side motion. So if we think about the horse's thorax, the rib cage, it's swinging from side to side every step like this. If you look from the back or from the front, you see this movement. So the horse's back also goes a little bit like this, up and down. So this is the movement that we need to allow to happen from our pelvis. So it's this a little bit side to side movement like this. You can practice this quite well on this big ball. It's like this. We don't want to exaggerate it, so we don't want to go like this because we don't want the horse to go like this, but it's just this little side to side movement like this that needs to happen. And that when you allow this movement to happen, it makes it a lot easier to follow the horse's movement. But then, of course, there's also this movement which we talked about in the slow motion video. So if I'm doing this little up and down, you can see this opening and closing from my hip joint. And it's not just up and down. What we need to understand, it's also up and forward and down and forward. So the horse is going forward. So it's kind of like like this. It's a little bit difficult to show here on the ball, but it's a little bit like this. And you can just also practice just this opening and closing from the hip, and also just you can think that you're stretching down with your knee, and also your ankles are soft. So we need to have all of these joints, our hips, our knees, and our ankles soft, so we can absorb the horse's motion properly. So this is something that you can practice on this big ball. It's kind of like you were a little bit kneeling down, like this. So now if I just do this up and down motion again, and now let's look at my upper body and my spine. So now I need to have a little bit of control in my core muscles. If I'm too relaxed, then this will happen. So I'm this like a spaghetti like this. So we don't want that. We want to keep our upper body quite stable, but still not rigid and not tense. So it's really important to find the right balance in that. And if we talk about the lower back, we want to have the lower back supple, but we don't want to, this happen. So we don't want too much movement. We want this little suppleness happening in the lower back, but we don't want it to be unstable and moving too much. In sitting trot, it's also quite common that we squeeze with our legs, or that we squeeze with our butt, or we kind of try to hang on the horse. And it's really important to try and relax your butt muscles and your thigh muscles, and keep them soft, and keep your legs close to the horse, but not squeezing, because then it will really make it a lot difficult for you to be able to absorb the horse's motion, and it's also going to make it a lot more difficult for the horse to move forward properly and in a relaxed way. One great mental image for the sitting trot, I'm sure many of this might have heard it already, but it's like riding a bicycle backwards from your hips. So kind of like that. I know that is an image that really helps me to do the sitting trot better, and it's going to also help you find that side to side movement a little bit that we need to be able to sit fluidly in the trot. And now I'm going to say it again, but remember to breathe. That is going to help so much, and try to find this really deep breathing where you breathe kind of into your lower back or onto your sides like this. So it's not just shallow and breathing just into your upper chest. And when you're starting to practice sitting trot, do it in like these little bits. So you do maybe like 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever strides. So you don't necessarily want to do it too much, so it doesn't become too difficult. And maybe also keep the trot a little bit slower first, so then it's going to be easier. And then you can also ride more forward when it gets easier, and you can follow the horse's movement better and maybe sit for longer periods of time. But start with little and then just go from there. So I guess that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. If you have any tips for the sitting trot, please just put them down below, because we all always want to learn more, and we can also help each other. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I see you in the next video. Bye!